Hello everyone and welcome to Sinful Gaming. I hope you're all doing well, I hope you're all staying safe, and most of all, I hope you're all fighting that war against the grey or reading those books on your bookshelf. Today we've got another Black Library review for you, and this time we're going to be looking at one of the short audio dramas released for Warhammer Underworld Shadespire when it first came out, and this one is called The Autumn Prince by Guy Hayley. To talk a little bit about this short story, at the start, it's just a small little audio drama. It goes for roughly about half an hour long, and it's about a wood elf nomad prince cast out from his own people who is hunting down ways to bring back his beloved back to life. The interesting thing about this is his beloved is a human, and so that was a very big point in the whole story, is that that's why he's outcasted. He also has this cool little, what's an imp? Let's go with that, is a correct way to put the character that follows him around, and there's a vicious little sprite that he is trying to make better. But the end goal of this is he's trying to bring back his beloved back to life. What's really cool about this is it's a different sort of story. It's not a fight story. It's not anything to do with war. He's just trying to bring back this person he loves back to life. It's a really different sort of story that I've never sort of seen something done like this in an Age of Sigmar or even Warhammer in general setting. It's just a different direction for a character to go. He's not got vengeance on his mind. He's not got any of that. He just wants to bring back his beloved to life. So my favourite character, I guess, within the book, let's start with that, is definitely his little sprite, Shadowcap. It's this wicked little creature that he's trying to make better, and it's just such a fun little creature that always wants to do this. It's very timid, but it's also very mischievous at the same time and devilish, and it's just an interesting little addition to make this otherwise, I guess, perfect elven prince this little bit more interesting. And because of this whole story, like, the characters do feel very real in the story. You can see his pain, well, not necessarily see, but you can hear and feel the pain of the character as he's just wanting this one thing back in his life. And it's an interesting sort of take, because he's an elf, so obviously he lives for hundreds and hundreds of years. And if his beloved was a human, she would have withered and grown old, and he would have watched this. And while he still remains youthful and vigilant, his beloved grows old and eventually dies. The story was really cool. For a half-hour little audio drama, it really does keep you guessing, and there's a lot of little nice twists and turns despite the small amount of time given for this audio drama. Definitely my favourite part of the book, though, is just the entrance into Shadespire, because obviously that is where this book is entirely set. It's got the big Shadespire logo on the cover there, but definitely the entrance into Shadespire and hearing all the tales told about it, and just how you get into the city. It's the stuff that we don't really know about that area that's really, really interesting. There's some really great scenes in there, and definitely anything between Prince Mesa, who is our Nomad Prince character, I should have mentioned that earlier, and Shadowcap are always really interesting exchanges, because he's trying to make this little wicked creature better, and this little wicked creature doesn't necessarily disobey anything, it just doesn't know how. And it's a really interesting sort of exchange, and anything between those two really does give some more depth to this character of a Nomad Prince. It just gives that a little bit more to the stories. Obviously, we've talked about emotion already as well. I find personally that really emotion-wise for this little short story, you start to feel the sorrow of the Nomad Prince. You start to feel his pain, and you also feel I guess the pain of Shadowcap trying to be forced to be something that he's not. He is a wicked little cruel creature, and it's just his nature to be such a thing. But he's trying to be forced to be something else, and you feel his pain as well, because he doesn't really want to be better. He's only doing it because Mesa is sort of making him. definitely like the story, because it's nice and quick, it is to its point really, really quick, and the story just keeps on moving. It doesn't have a lot of time to slow down, and so that doesn't really give you a time to not be involved in the story. I mean, at half an hour, it's over before you've ever really got into it. But what's great is there are other Prince Mesa stories out there you can follow on with, which I'll definitely be doing reviews of as well in the future. But this is the start of them all. And yeah, it just keeps going, and it's a really nice, good pace of a little audio drama that keeps you wanting more. Plot points I wish were explored more. I do wish we saw more of Shadespire and got some more ideas. This one is, while set in Shadespire, is very much about Prince Mesa. There's not a lot of Shadespire explored or talked about, much more than he himself. And I do wish we, another 15 minutes, like, okay, that's almost adding another half the time of the audio drama on top. Could have really explored Shadespire that a little bit more and given us a little more depth inside Shadespire itself. Characters I failed to care about, like, there's not many, because like the only two main characters and two constants, I guess, throughout the story are Mesa and Shadowcap, and you don't really not feel for either of those characters. So I think it did that well. But like I said, the enemies within Shadespire that are met with the characters, you don't really get that much out of them. And so they're a little bit bland and not really explored that much. But that is, I guess, the nature of this little short story, that you're not going to get that in such a short amount of time. Definitely, though, this is a really interesting story for those who want to see more nitty-gritty, a more in-depth sort of look at the world of Warhammer Age of Sigmar. This is for people who don't necessarily like big war stories and want to know about the ins and outs and how like normal people live, and like an adventure story as well. As this continues throughout the series, it's got some really cool stories within the series that we'll definitely get onto later. All in all, though, it is a really great little short story. I personally like it, and we'll get to rating it in just a sec. But I think the characters we've got here, Mesa and Shadowcap, is a really cool little combo. It's not necessarily like two equal characters backing each other up. It's clearly one's in charge and one is this tiny little thing that's as much a nuisance as help. And I think that gives a lot to the story. All in all, though, I think for this one, I'm out of 8 Realm Stones, I'm going to give this one 5 out of 8 Realm Stones. Like, it has its weak points, obviously, and that's mostly due to its own length and nothing of its, I guess, fault, because it's very likely made with a particular time frame in mind. And not to say time frame, that's not the correct word. It was very likely made to be a certain length of time, and I think it's done really well at what it is. For a half an hour long audio drama, I really think this is a really decent one and sets up the characters well for stories later. So we hope you enjoyed the video. If there's any Black Library books you'd like us to review in the future, please do let us know in the comments down below. And don't forget also to like the video and subscribe to the channel to keep up to date with all the Black Library reviews that we do in the future. A special thank you to all the people who support the channel on Patreon. You're all fantastic people. Thank you so much to our Sinful Guard Militia, Christian Weir, Philip Ward, Cowspawn and Soren, and our Sinful Free Guild Regiment members James and AJC. Thank you so much for your additional support for the channel. If you'd also like to help more and support the channel on Patreon, you can do so by following the link down in the description of the video down below. Lastly, in the description as well, you'll find a link to our Discord server where you can come in and make your requests even more heard about what you'd like to see us review from Black Library over there. But also, you can come chat with me and other members of our fantastic community there. But that's it for today, everyone. Hope you enjoyed the video. Once again, stay safe, stay well. Most of all, keep fighting that war against the Grey. And also, read those books on your goddamn shelf.